Wisconsin don't fucking count.
Iowa scored more points against Wisconsin than you guys. Are you worried?
That's true. I'm very worried, very worried.
I would be too.
I am.
Team.
I just saw that and was shocked. I was like, okay. That's fucking like random as fuck.
Yeah, I didn't
Hey, guys.
take it too. Think it's too worrisome.
All Luke Fickle needs, man, is some NIL money. Be
Uh.
all right.
Are we gonna start putting some respect on Arkansas now?
No,
They're doing
Did they
fine.
win?
I think we need to.
they're 2-5.
No,
Are you picking them today?
but they've been playing.
They play.
They're
Auburn.
actually favored against Auburn.
Can we,
They're favored, too.
can we respect Arkansas?
I'm not. Not till they win these games. You have to win. That's why you play.
Respect Taylor Green for carrying a shitty fucking program on his fucking back.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I respect the SEC for
Yes.
being the worst ref in the history of mankind.
His talent is nice.
Has almost 600 rushing yards with 5 touchdowns and over 2,000 passing yards.
All right, guys, we are live, so just send out the link now.
W's in the chat.
Ah ha ha.
Ha ha ha. Bryce came in here with that Kawhi laugh. All right, it is tweeted on Family Ties. So let's get that stuff out. And Dave, you want to send it in the chat? Or anybody? I guess anybody?
I got you.
Appreciate it.
If my phone's gonna work.
Sorry, I'm checking the audio real quick.
You're good.
Everybody sounds pretty good.
That is a
Oh.
W.
Why am I on YouTube Shorts?
Ooh, week
Alright.
8, we did not do too good.
Week 8.
Week 9.
Week 9.
We're on.
All right. Send out the last tweet down. If we're all good, then
Yes, sir.
then we will go ahead and get started. I'm gonna try to keep us on schedule here.
Mhm.
Sorry, got dad duty going on. Hey, Lainey, come on, give me a second, okay?
Oh, Daddy.
What?
Mommy's letting me watch any TV.
Are you listening?
Yes.
Okay, well, go tell her that to watch just a little bit. You need to go to bed. Sorry, guys.
I want you to turn it on.
I can't. Ask Mom real quick. Okay?
Oh, I can't. I won't do that.
She will.
I'll open this door.
Let me grab it for you. Go ahead, okay? Alright, I am back. I'm sorry about that.
The big chop.
Big chop in the chat once again with the W's. And with that, we are going to go ahead and start the podcast episode tonight, guys. Week 9 of the We Know Ball College Football Podcast. We are steamrolling. W, Big Stigs, and Chop.
Can't say it.
So we are going to start out here. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Stigs, Bryce, and Adam. I'm Paul. And shout out Sketchy for getting the buzzer beater done here to make the slides. W's in
Shout
the
out
chat
Sketch.
all around. We already got 6 people in here. You guys want to go ahead and greet everybody?
Yes, sir.
What up?
How's it going?
All right, we'll get right into the Week 8 games recap. We're going to pass it off to each person. We're going to go a little bit quicker here tonight because we got more to talk about. Want to kind of fly through these recaps. All right, guys?
Yeah.
I'll let everybody kind of say their little piece, and I know Stiggs will have a nugget to close us out on each game, usually. We'll start out with this one. Actually, Stiggs, I want you to go ahead and take the forefront on this one. Tell us why the scores are flipped here, but Louisville ends up beating Miami. What's up, Zai? Go ahead.
Yeah, that was a crazy game. The real story of the game was the Louisville defense. Clef Lubin, defensive end, was causing some havoc, and Carson Beck was uncharacteristically poor. Through a lot of turnovers, was struggling. He ended up with 4 picks. I think 3 were probably at his fault. 1 kind of went through his receiver's hands. But at the end of the day, we should talk about Louisville. They're the winners. Their running back, Isaac Brown, he forced 16 missed tackles in the game alone, 15 rushes for 113, beast game. But the real player of the day was Chris Bell. He's a real big wide receiver. He had 9 catches, 136, 2 touchdowns. There was a great game plan implemented by their head coach, Jeff Brom. He got the ball out of his quarterback hands quickly. So, yeah, shout out to Louisville. It's a big win for them.
It definitely is. And sorry, I had to take a short break there. But Carson Beck with 4 interceptions. I'm sure you brought it up. But kind of we're waiting for a game like that. Maybe he had turned the corner. It didn't happen. But that looked like one of the bad games from last year he had.
100%, uncharacteristic from him from what we've seen this year. So hopefully he can bounce back. But Miami kind of has a cupcake schedule, so I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, and it doesn't hurt them too bad that Louisville's actually pretty solid themselves. So.
Yeah.
All right, Bryce, let's go on over here to you. Vanderbilt beats LSU 31-24. In the pre-show, we were kind of going over this, talking about Stiggs gave us a good nugget. I'll let Stiggs finish up with that nugget. Bryce, tell us what happened in this game.
Diego Pavia, I think he is the reason why Vandy won this game. He was the central. He was the central root and cause of LSU's breakdown on defense. Garrett Nussmeier did end up playing this game. We thought he was going to be injured. I thought he was going to not be playing. He did play, and he honestly did not play horribly. He went 19 for 28, 225 with 2 touchdowns. He did have a couple of sacks that did hurt Vandy, but late in the game, Diego Pavia, I don't know if y'all seen the play or not. He had a miracle, I believe it was fourth and 8 run or something like that, or pass out of a 4th and run, but it set Vandy up for a late score, and they ended up pulling away. I think LSU's offense, as we talked about before it started, is lacking this year. They are lacking something. Maybe it's Brian Kelly. Maybe it's just LSU team vibe and chemistry as a whole. May not all be there, but Diego Pavia led Vandy to this W, and it was well-deserved.
Stiggs, give us the nugget.
Yeah, both Vandy's tight ends played really well. Cole Spence and Eli Stowers, they were both their top 2 receiving yardage leaders. Cole Spence had the big touchdown catch. But yeah, they had a left guard, Cade McConnell. He went viral on Twitter for this clip. He had a great rep. So the defensive end is lined up for I, which is the inside shade of the tackle. The nose tackle is lined up on zero tech, which is directly across from the center, meaning the left guard has no one to look. So as soon as the ball snaps, this dude lunges, takes out the left end instantly, just dumps him, takes 2 steps to the right, decimates the nose tackle, and then instantly gets his hands on a 3rd lineman. And that's just a dog mentality coming from the top from their head coach, Clark Lee. I think you got to give him a lot of the credit for turning this program around, bringing in guys like Pavia from the portal.
100%. And then you want to say the scoring bit?
I don't know what you're talking about.
What you said earlier?
What you said earlier about the 2 teams? Only 2
Oh,
teams?
yeah, there's 2 teams in the Power 5 that have not scored more than 25 points versus Power 4 opponents. One is North Carolina, and the other is LSU. So that is never good to be associated with Bill Belichick's North Carolina College.
100% there. Let's send this one over to Adam. Adam, Georgia beats Ole Miss 43-35. Talk about a high scoring. The same games, the same scores the SEC used to make fun of the Big 12 for. Now it comes full circle, and it's not just defenses; it's the offenses as well. It looked like Ole Miss ran out of gas in this one. Georgia was down 35-26, 17 unanswered from the Dogs in the 4th quarter, Adam.
Yeah, what a game this was. I got to catch a little bit of it, but Gunnar Stockton was pretty good in this game. He was 26 of 31 for 289 yards and 4 touchdowns. But I didn't. Trinidad Chambliss also looked pretty good for Ole Miss. No one could get a stop in this game. But it looks like Georgia, they had a A little bit of a setback against Bama, but they've recovered pretty well.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, Ole Miss really surprised me in this game. My lock was Georgia minus 7.5, and it ends up barely squeaking by and hitting. But for as much as the rushing was, that's kind of what the breakdown was on what the difference was for me, Stiggs, as we head into it. Georgia finished with 221 rushing. That's been the Achilles heel for Ole Miss, even though their offense has been pretty impressive.
Yeah, Old Miss kind of reminds me of Oklahoma. Like they both have good offenses on paper, but they can't really establish the run consistently. A couple interesting nuggets of this game. Neither team got a sack, so it was a heavy passing game,
Yeah.
and neither team was able to get home. Georgia, Adam said it. There was not a lot of stops to be had in this game. Ole Miss never got one. Georgia never punted or turned the ball over. They scored on every possession except the very last one where they were taking a knee. So I thought that was interesting. And Georgia tight end Lawson Lucky, highest graded tight end this week, had 5 catches. 3 of them were touchdown. So I think Lane Train might have his eye on Florida. What do you guys think?
There's a chance. There's definitely a chance of it. That or he's coming up north to State College, maybe potential. I heard that floating around,
Yeah.
but he complains so much about the SEC. Maybe he'll just leave it for something he thinks is easier.
Right.
But we'll move on to the next one here. Steamrolling right now. I'll come right back to you here, Stiggs. You can give us a little bit on this one. Alabama takes down Tennessee 37-20 in a game that was never really close. The Aguilar pick 6 to end the first half really sealed this game and what it was. But Bama just continuing on.
Yeah, Ty Simpson was again very impressive. He keeps they gave him that week 1 mulligan, right, Paul? But ever since then, he's been
Yeah.
playing best quarterback in one of the best quarterbacks in college football. And Tennessee, unfortunately, just keeps coming up short in these big time games. I do want to shout out the Bama O-line. They protected Ty Simpson. They didn't allow a sack. Ryan Williams seems to be back. He had another big game performance, a very high grade. And also Xavier Brown. He's a true sophomore defensive back, had a huge pick 6, which kind of just turned the whole momentum in the game. It was a 100-yard pick 6. On Tennessee side, do want to shout out true freshman tackle Davis Sanders. There was 31 pass blocking snaps, and he did not allow pressure against a pretty good edge rush in Bama with LT Overton and other guys.
Yeah, and it's kind of been the same story for Tennessee for the past couple years now. There's just no consistency when it comes to these big games. I mean, every time that you think that they might have turned a corner, they haven't, and it's just it's hard to pick them in these big games, Stiggs. It's just a reoccurring problem.
Yeah, I think I ended up getting this pick wrong too. So
And we will go on to the next one. I watched a lot of this game. I'll kind of take this. Michigan beats Washington 24-7. So this game in the first half was really tight, and then out of nowhere, Washington just started being so careless with the ball. This was one of those grinded out field possession games, play your punts, neither team giving up too much. Michigan's type of game that they love to play, and Damon Williams and Washington fell right into it. I mean, we had interceptions back to back, and on a team like Michigan, they're just going to try to run the ball, and that's exactly what shout out Jordan Marshall, Moeller in Cincinnati. He went for 25 for 133 and a touchdown in this game. I mean, that fits their mold and their blueprint, exactly what they're looking for. This is exactly how Michigan likes to play their games. They will do this to you. They will try to keep it tight. They're not going to try to make you do too much until you start making mistakes and you don't see the ball back for another 5 minutes. But in Washington's side, 3 interceptions on the side of Damon Williams. They were demanding respect and wanted to be ranked before this week. These are games that you have to compete and win in. Time of possession overall, to me, says it all. Michigan with 36 minutes in this game and Washington with 22. And you lose the turnover battle 3-0, you're going to lose the game against Michigan. Sticks?
yeah, Paul. Yeah, you summed it up really well. The 3 turnovers from Damon is really going to do it, and he hadn't been doing that all year, so that was very uncharacteristic from him. Shout out to the Michigan defense for stepping up, and also the Washington overall. Even me as an Oregon fan, I've been hyping up Jonah Coleman a lot, and he did have some good performances early in the year, but he's only averaging 3.2 yards per carry the last 3 games, and Washington as a team only averaged 1.7 yards per carry. So they'll definitely need to figure that out if they want to keep their playoff hopes alive. They got to pretty much run the table now.
Yes, they do. We'll move on to the next one here. Bryce, I'll let you have this one, and I know we're gonna have a disagreement on this. Arizona State beats Texas Tech 26-22, and before you give them a full-on pass, I want to give a shout-out to Sam Levitt and Jordan Tyson for this game because they were great all day long.
Yeah, they really came back to win this game. They had the game, and then they started throwing it away at the end, and then they went on a legacy drive to come back and win it. They were at home for this game. But like you said, Sam Levitt played great. He had that one fumble that kind of cost them later in the game to help Tech come back into it, but he had his legacy drive at the end. And shout out Arizona State on 4th and 8 or 4th and 1. They instead of running the ball to get the first down, they bombed. They took a deep shot down the field to get that keep moving the chains and to get into a position to score points late in the game. Granted, Texas Tech was without their starting quarterback, Baron Morton, and did play a freshman quarterback, Will Hammond, who was not horrible, did have an interception, only threw for 160. But that being said, Arizona State played to win, and they did win this game.
Yeah, and I'm not meaning that to take away from Tech. They still have their full season ahead of them. The biggest worry for me, I know that they didn't have their starting quarterback, and you kind of have to take that part with a grain of salt. Stakes, what stuck out to me was their rushing attack was very non-existent. Speaking of Hammond, he was their leading rusher at 47 yards on 15 attempts as a quarterback, and that's just not going to cut it.
Yeah, I agree. There was a very, severe lack of rushing attack, which was, not been typical for them this year. I do want to quickly shout out, like Fakes alluded to, Sam Levitt did play a pretty good game. He is super inconsistent, but when he's on, I feel like he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country, or at least, only when he's on, if you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Like he's just too inconsistent to actually put him there. Quickly wanted to shout out Keith Abney too. He's a cornerback for Arizona State. He's had a strong year. His name popped on my radar during the offseason when I was looking at some cornerbacks for the NFL draft, and he is really good, man. He's very physical at the catch point, and he showed that on a couple pass breakups. On the Texas Tech side, do want to shout out Jacob Rodriguez. He's a linebacker. He's definitely a Butkus Award finalist in my eyes. 12 tackles, a couple forced fumbles. He did his best to keep this team in the game. But unfortunately for Texas Tech, this conference looks like it's in BYU's hands. God's hands, some would say.
It is, and there's a sneaky Bearcat who does not have a conference loss who could get there, Adam. It's not completely out of the realm of possibility. And before we move on to the next one, I did shout out Tyson, but I also want to shout out Jaron Hamilton. Arizona State did have 2 receivers go for over 100 in this game. So that was definitely a shining light in that part for them. And speaking of that, Adam, we're going to wrap up this part with you and Bryce. Went head-to-head. Cincinnati able to take down Oklahoma State 49-17. I'll kind of let you both say what you want here real quick.
Yeah, I'll go first. Bearcats bowl eligible for the first time in 3 years. It's kind of, cool.
Pop that bowl.
I do want to shout out Oklahoma State's fan base, dude. They sold out. I know it was homecoming, but still, they were pretty into it the entire game. They got a pretty loyal fan base down there. And I want to shout out their offense. Cincinnati's defense in the first half, especially, was downright terrible. I'll just put it that way. They could not stop the run specifically with Rodney Fields. He had an Ollie Gordon game against us. He had 190 total yards, and he did score. But Brendan Sorsby, the offense, man, they cannot be stopped. When they're on, they're on. Brendan Sorsby again, 20 for 29. He had 270 yards and 4 total touchdowns. 3 of those touchdowns went to wide receiver Cyrus Allen. The other one, Joe Royer finally got unlocked in this game a little bit. He had 5 catches for 63 yards and a touchdown. And the last guy I want to shout out is Matthew McDoom. He had our first interception all year on defense, if you can believe that. And of course, it went for a 100-yard touchdown. So I do want to shout out him.
Bryce, you got anything to add?
Oklahoma State needs to throw a bag at Rodney Fields this offseason. He's the only player on our team that's actually competent. We did have a wide receiver at quarterback, and he was kind of exciting to watch. I'm not gonna lie. The way he can scramble and run around and keep the play alive just with his speed and on his legs is pretty exciting. We haven't seen that since Spencer Sanders, really. But Cincinnati is a different team. They are a team to look out for in the Big 12. I have them ranked very high in my rankings right now. Not even just because of this game. I just think like Georgia Tech's getting treatment where they're considered a top 10 team in the country. I think Cincinnati and Georgia Tech are very similar teams, and Cincinnati might even have the edge. I think they are very comparable. I'm very high on the Cincinnati team, and like you said, this conference is still wide open for them to come in and take control of.
Yeah, and I only said the Pop-Tart Bowl comments because Adam sent me bowl projections, and 2 out of the 5 of them had them in the Pop-Tart Bowl playing Louisville. That's the only reason I said that. I wasn't being a hater, I promise.
No.
But
That's a good bowl.
I mean,
I'm glad you were
honestly,
clearing that up.
I'll take
Yeah.
that, honestly, because
I wasn't meaning it in any bad way.
No, yeah.
Barstool predicted them to be in the playoff. Adam sent today.
they had us playing Ole Miss. I couldn't even believe it. I had to look at it twice.
Anything you want to add from this one, Stiggs?
Yeah, I'll shout out Brennan Sorsby, super high
Yep.
grade, 92.1. Dude's just a freaking beast. He's the top 3 graded quarterback in college football, and I'm not really worried about the Bearcats' offense. Their offensive line has been on the Joe Moore watch list for the past couple weeks. They've won offensive line in the Big 12 like 3 out of the last 5 weeks. So I'm not really worried about their offense. I'm really worried about if their defense can continue to keep playing better. Their secondary in particular.
Yep. And that's gonna wrap up our part for the game. Oh, how could we forget, Bryce?
Holy Lord.
Nope, not quite. Like I said, there's still a couple more. We got a lot of reviews this week. I'll let you go ahead and take this one for us real quick. Notre Dame beats USC 34-24. Lincoln Riley with maybe one of the worst play calls I've seen for a 4th and 1 of all time, and it backfires on him as well. Good stop there by Notre Dame. But, I mean, I was more confused than anything at the call. You need a yard. QB sneak has a success rate within a yard of over 90%, and you don't do anywhere near that. What do you have to add to this, Bryce?
I feel like if USC had a player like Jeremiah Love, this game could be very different for him. They could have even won it. Jeremiah Love is a different player this year. I think without a doubt he's one of the best running backs in college football right now. He led this Notre Dame team to a W. 24 carries for almost 230 yards rushing. He did have 1 touchdown. And CJ Carr, he didn't have the greatest game. Honestly, I think this is his worst game of the year so far. I think he looked better against A&M and Miami when they played early in the year than he did against USC. I understand this was a weather game. There was a lot of rain in South Bend when this game was being played. And I'm sure that contributed a lot to why both teams ran the ball. But, I mean, Jaden Maiava, oh, my goodness. USC's quarterback, he was able to pass the ball. He did have a couple turnovers, but he was still able to throw for over 300. So he kind of lit up the Notre Dame defense, which a lot of teams haven't really done successfully since week 1 and 2, really just since week 2. But Notre Dame walked away with a dub, and they deserved it.
Stiggs, I mean, before you give us your little nugget, I want to ask real quick, is Riley's seat heating up at all? I mean, he's a top 3 highest paid coach in the Big Ten. I mean, just continuously not winning these. Go ahead.
Let me know when you're ready for the nugget, because my answer is in the nugget, funny enough.
Go ahead. Yep, go ahead.
Okay, so USC has lost 7 straight road games in this series, including this one. So that's very tough for them. And Fake's already shouted out Jeremiah Love. I want to shout out Jadarian Price. He had keyed in with 80 yards rushing, and he also had a kick return touchdown. He's an elite complementary piece who could start anywhere, almost anywhere else in the country. Leonard Moore, Notre Dame's defensive back, he's up there with Mansour Delane as one of the best defensive backs in college football. Jim Thorpe Award watch list for sure. He's normally an outside corner, and he followed around Malachi Lemon, USC Stars receiver, and probably the favorite for the Bolitnikoff. He followed him around, which is, that's not really what he does. And he locked him down. He only had a couple catches for about 30 yards, I believe. Here, I'm looking at it right now. It's 3 targets, 2 catches for 28 yards.
Yep.
So shout out to Leonard Moore. And to answer your question, Paul, I think Lincoln Riley was in the same position as Billy Napier coming into the year. But what gives him a pass is he did the anti-Billy Napier, and he cleaned out his defensive staff and reset. Billy Napier, apparently, before they were going to let Billy Napier go and his team won last year, one of the caveats to keeping him was he had to get a new defensive staff, but he ended up winning, more games than he was supposed to, and never did that. I think he's getting a pass, and I do want to think that USC is turning the corner here, but his seat is hot for sure.
Yeah, it's just continuously paying so much for him to not. He hasn't won a big game there since he's been there. Realistically,
I think if they would have lost to Michigan last week, the way people are talking about Lincoln Riley right now would be much different.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, last week, like, they're expected to win that game. They're at home. They're a favorite. They won that game. That's a typical USC game. Winning this game at Notre Dame would have been like a statement game, and they're just, they're close, but they're not quite there.
Yeah, and his biggest win right now might be the win over LSU last year, and Brian Kelly doesn't win big games either. So moving on
Right.
to the Holy War to close us off here. Adam, what do you got to say about this? BYU still undefeated. Words are flipped on this one.
Yeah, they BYU just keeps proving me wrong.
Same.
Every time I think they have a chance for an upset against somebody, they just keep winning. I do want to say, because we're talking about how wide open the Big 12 is, looking ahead a little bit, there's a game in mid-November here at Nippert between BYU and Cincinnati that could potentially be for the last spot in Arlington with Texas Tech or whoever. I think it's going to be whoever wins is basically going to the championship game.
Yeah, and the thing with this game for me is Utah was really winning here. In the fourth quarter, big score, late touchdown. This game was 10-7 going in the fourth quarter, but it doesn't pop out on the stat sheet. But if you go back and watch it, I'm sure Stiggs, you probably saw it. You got to give props to Bear Bachmeier. He absolutely willed BYU to this win, and being a true freshman, as he is, he had one of the best runs I've seen to get a first down, which he converted into a touchdown by any player, even outside of a quarterback, to really kind of show this BYU team's resilient. But that's who I would have to shout out. And the thing is, you look at his stats, 13 of 22, 166, nothing jumps off of that. But it was a Haynes King type performance, I would probably say, how gritty he was.
Yeah, I'm glad you shouted that out, Paul, because that call on that play was awesome. A Bears on the loose in Provo. That was so dope. That was so dope. But yeah, their BYU's run game was definitely the key to this. They have a running back, LJ Martin. He's a big physical downhill back. He had 122 yards, and that sets up their play action pass. The quarterback, Bear Bachmeier, who wears 47. Got to shout it out every time. Wears 47. He has the third highest play action passing grade in the country, 91.8, and they utilized that really well today. If you actually take away their play action passing yards, they had -2 passing yards.
Yeah.
So all their passing yards was off of play action. And on Utah side of things, their offense was 1 of 5 on fourth down, and 2 of those failed fourth downs were in the red zone where they could have taken field goals. So very, very brutal look for Whittingham, because some of those decisions, at least I was watching it live. I watched that run that you're talking about live too. I think those decisions were pretty questionable from Whittingham because, like you said, it was such a close game going into the fourth.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you're BYU, I mean, what's your thoughts on the quarterback position now that Ratliff is hurt, and then you got Bachmeier playing how he is? I mean, what's going through your head there? Do you just keep rolling with Bachmeier, or how long is the injury window here?
Right, yeah, they're They're just letting them rip.
Yeah, I mean, he might have earned that starting spot, and it's not like Ratliff was playing bad.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's.
Go
I'd
ahead.
like
ahead,
to add
Bryce.
real quick. Utah, Utah outperformed BYU by over 100+ yards of total offense. They dominated them in the passing game and a rushing game. I think BYU's bend but don't break defense is kind of what kept them in this game and kept them ahead. They were consistently letting Utah march down the field, but they would slowly eventually start stopping them and just did not let them get any points. And I think that speaks more about BYU's defense than anything else.
Yeah, 100%. I think it definitely ties into that, and it also ties into what Stiggs was just saying. Like, take your points, especially in a nail biter game like that. All right,
Yeah, I'm
everybody,
glad you.
go ahead.
I just wanted to say I'm glad you called out Bear Bachmeier's performance because if you look at the stats on paper, it's like he had 60 rushing yards, wasn't that efficient, 100-something passing yards, whatever. But yeah, he had that team on his back. 7-0 as a true freshman is really impressive.
Very much so. Very much so. Now we're at everybody's favorite pastime. Just kidding. We got trivia time. How are you guys feeling this week?
Confident.
I got 6 questions for you guys. Tried to make it as even as I could. So the first question, you might get this right off the bat. You might not. Trivia time. Question 1. Who has the most passing touchdowns in NCAA history?
Case Keenum.
Joe Burrow
Case
for a single
Keenum?
season
Case
or for
Keenum?
I think.
career?
Career.
Oh,
Case
Yeah,
Keenum,
Case Keenum.
is tied for first. Do you know
Come
who
on,
he's tied
come
with?
on.
He is
is
tied
it
for first.
the Western Kentucky quarterback?
It is not. It is not. But
Is he-
Case
is he tied
Keenum
with-
is the answer, but he's also tied with somebody.
Oh. Is it Kellen Moore?
It is not. Recent.
Is it a Hawaii
a-
quarterback? Oh, recent.
Recent.
Graham Harrell.
Nope.
It's not.
You guys ready for the answer?
Wait, is it Trevor Lawrence?
It is not Trevor
Yeah.
Lawrence.
Yeah, I'm ready for the answer.
I'm ready too.
The answer, tied for Case Keenum, is Dylan Gabriel.
Wow.
Oh wow! How did I not know that? I'm a bum.
Saul Sensei.
I thought that was the
man.
one you would take, for sure. You pulled Case Keenum, but you didn't pull Gabriel.
That's crazy.
That's just insane ball knowledge and lack of ball knowledge at the same time.
That's funny.
All right. What 5 active head coaches, have the highest win percentage, minimum of 4 seasons?
Ryan Day is one.
He is. Ryan Day's number 1. He also just moved into number 1 highest winning percentage of all time.
Kirby.
Dabo up there.
Kirby is 2.
Is Dabo up there?
Dabo is 3.
Do we get Danimal Landing on here?
Danimal Lanning. Oh, I'm sorry. Dan is 2. So we got Day, Lanning, Kirby, Dabo. Who is 5?
DeBoer.
It is not DeBoer.
Yeah, he's only been there 3
Sark.
seasons.
It's not Sark.
it
This
Kiffin?
might be a terrible guess, but is it Brian Kelly?
It is Brian Kelly.
Wow,
Good.
that's crazy.
Good snipe there. Did you guys know who number 6 was? Right outside of that, it was actually James Franklin. Before
I was about to say James
He's not
Franklin.
active no more though.
he's not active, so doesn't count on the list. All right, here we go. This has kind of been a hot commodity. You guys might know this answer right off the top of your head here. Question 3: Who was the last head coach to win a national championship who called plays for his team? I will give you a hint. It
Is
has
it-
only happened 3 times out of the last 40 national champions. Last head coach to win a national championship who called plays for his team, either as the offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator.
I feel like Ohio State's early years,
Nope, it's not
the early
Ohio State.
2000s.
Not us.
I was supposed to say Ryan Day, honestly, but I didn't know if Chip called
Ryan-
the plays last year.
Chip was the play caller last year, so it's not Ohio State. I'll give you that hint. It's not Ohio State. Saban wasn't calling plays either.
I don't think Dabo would call plays.
It's not Kirby either because Dan Lanning called Kirby.
Yeah, it's not Kirby. Oh, I actually got a pretty good one with this one.
Yeah, this one's good.
Who was Nebraska's head coach during that pistol shit? Them.
We're talking after that.
Okay.
Like I said, I'd like to give you guys answers that are.
Is
You
You
Jimbo
said the last
Fisher?
40 head coaches, so I didn't know how far.
Jimbo Fisher is the correct answer. 2013
Wow.
Florida State.
It's a good one.
And it kind of gets brought up because this was a question that was brought up to Sark with Texas about calling his own plays. And so there was a deep dive on the stats of it. And it's only happened one time in the last 12 years and only 3 times in the last 40. What do you guys think about that, about head coaches who call plays for their team? I think it works in the high school level. It doesn't work at the college to win national championships.
What got Billy Napier fired? He refused to give up the duty.
Yep, exactly. So, we're going to move on to question 4 here. In college football, Division I only, what is the most popular mascot? I don't mean who has the most followers. I mean which name is used the most.
Wildcats.
Tiger.
Nope, it is not either one of those. Tigers comes in second on this list.
Lion?
Lions, nope. I make it hard to do research for my trivia.
The Knights?
No, the Knights is a good guess though.
Wait, so what is the question?
In Division
Which
I,
teams?
which mascot is used the most?
The Bears. Some kind of bear.
Bears are fourth on the list.
Oh, man.
You're right there.
Does this include FCS?
Yes, Division I does count FCS as well. But I'm also only counting football. Like if they're FCS basketball, it doesn't count. There's a couple.
It's not
The
Tigers or
Dogs?
Wildcats.
It's not Tigers.
Bulldogs?
Bulldogs is the correct answer.
Let's go.
Get a hold of this. 15 teams in D1 have the Bulldogs. I wouldn't have thought they were more than the Tigers. My other guess that I would have brought up was the Eagles. Because I feel like there's a lot
Yeah,
of Eagles
I
as
mean,
well. But Adam, this doesn't
George.
include, like, Butler.
Yeah.
But yeah, Georgia,
That's crazy.
Yale. There's actually a lot more than you would probably realize.
Fresno State,
Fresno State. Yeah,
James Madison.
exactly. I wouldn't have thought that it was. I would have initially thought Tigers or Eagles, but great pull there, Stiggs.
That's crazy.
That was, dude, I guess 2 and 4. I knew I was going to get it.
All right, I got 2 questions left for you guys. Well, 2, kind of 3. I guess the last one's a 2-parter. Let's talk about the college football playoffs only. Just strictly in the playoffs. What player has the most carries without a fumble?
Like in the playoffs only.
Playoffs only. Career in the playoffs. So it could be 1 game, could be 4 games. Just only in the playoffs, the college football playoffs.
This seems like Zeke,
It is not
That's what I was
Zeke.
about to say too.
It is not Zeke.
not Dalvin Cook.
Zeke fumbled in the national championship against you guys.
I
Dalvin,
feel like-
it's not Dalvin Cook.
Not Dalvin. Nope.
Is it Judkins?
It's not Judkins.
Wouldn't be Travion either.
Nope.
This is
trying to
just
think
during
kinda more
just during the
recent.
playoffs.
Just during the playoffs.
Genty?
Jeremiah Love.
It's not Genty. It's not Jeremiah Love. This is a name you guys have heard. Like it's not like I'm just pulling a random.
And it's the most carries
Most carries.
without a fumble.
Career in the playoffs. Without a fumble.
Really?
hmm
Uh,
think about it for just a minute. Like, don't try to think. I wouldn't say just think about people who played one game in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like, that's my hint before I give it away.
Travis Etienne.
It is Travis Etienne.
Oh.
No
At
way. No way.
six-
That's crazy.
65 carries without a fumble. I'm surprised no one said Derrick Henry. I was waiting
thought somebody
for
did say
Derrick
Henry.
Henry, but if they
That's
did,
so funny.
but yeah, it is Travis Etienne. You got to remember he went to 2 or 3
Like
playoffs
3, yeah.
and without a fumble. So yeah, I thought that was a kind of cool little nugget there.
Good pool fakes.
Yeah, good pull. All right, guys, the last question, it's kind of a two-parter. I'm going to ask this for the last 5 years, and I'm going to ask it just this season. What Power 4 team has given up the most sacks in the last 5 years? Someone's watching basketball.
5 years. I am, yeah. Well, Minyamina's got a and one dunk.
I'm shouting at Wake Forest right now. I don't know why.
Wake Forest was in the top 5 of this. So you're in the...
Stanford.
Nope, it's not Stanford. I don't want to say it's expected, but when you kind of think about it,
Kansas.
it's not Kansas.
Northwestern.
Damn.
Nope,
It's not Vandy, right?
not Vandy.
Is it?
Mississippi State.
It is, Mississippi State was third,
Is it only Power 4 teams?
only Power 4.
About Kentucky.
Not Kentucky,
Colorado.
Purdue.
not Colorado, not Purdue.
Wow.
Those are good guesses, though. You guys are thinking of teams with bad O-lines.
Selfish quarterback.
Baylor?
It's not Baylor.
Their
Good guess, though.
offense.
Washington State.
Nope, not Washington State. I don't know if they're P4 anymore anyway.
Fair.
But no, yeah,
Duke.
it's not Duke. Do you guys want me to
No.
give it to
Yeah,
you?
spoil
It's
it.
gonna be a surprise.
No.
I'll give you no fakes. I'll give you one more hint. The number of sacks given up in the last 5 years is 121.
Wow.
That doesn't help at all.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't think you
See,
gotta think about how
their
many times that is. That's a
Our
lot.
offense is pretty bad. What about Iowa?
Nope, not Iowa.
No.
Give us the conference.
Florida State.
SEC.
Ooh.
It's not Vandy. It's not Mississippi State. Who's the other bottom feeder that I'm missing?
I don't know if you call this team always a bottom feeder.
Arkansas?
It's not Arkansas.
Yeah.
They're just a bottom feeder this year, fakes.
UK.
Just kidding. No, not Kentucky.
Wow.
Missouri?
Miss?
I've heard a few different teams at the same time there. Who would we have?
Is it OU?
It's not OU.
I had Ole Miss.
Not Ole Miss.
I said Missouri.
It's not Missouri.
South Carolina?
It's not South Carolina.
Oh,
Jesus.
God.
It's not Auburn?
It is Auburn.
Let's
Auburn.
go.
121 sacks given up in the last 5 years, and it's crazy to think about that. Like, that's with Bo Nix. That's with Jackson Arnold now. I mean, their offense has been terrible this year. But they are not the team who's given up the most sacks so far this year. This season, this team has given up 28 sacks. Who is it? They're also
28?
28 sacks
Illinois.
already.
Illinois or Duke?
Illinois is third. It is not them, and it's not Duke either. You guys will probably be surprised at this. How about, here's another hint. It's also SEC.
Is this year Kentucky?
It's not Kentucky. You guys could name the teams you already did. It doesn't matter.
Texas?
Nope, not Texas. Their O-line has struggled. That's a pretty good guess.
Florida?
It's not Florida.
Mississippi State?
South Carolina.
Nope.
Dang, I was confident.
Oh, is it OU?
It is OU. Oklahoma has
yeah.
given up the most sacks this year with 28 in, 7 games? Because they had to have a bye.
Yeah.
So, does that surprise you guys?
A little bit, but I mean, John Mateer runs around a lot, so
Yeah. I don't know if it skews it, but you guys remember like the first couple weeks of the season before they played Michigan, they were playing like really bad schools and still getting sacked like 5-6 times a game.
Illinois
The
State.
makeshift the Illinois State I think got them for 5 sacks.
Crazy.
But That's all I got for trivia time this week. Huh? Did you guys like it?
Yes.
That's gonna be like embedded in my head forever. That Stiggs got Case Keenum right off the bat. That is funny.
Did you know that once he said it, or did you just not know it, Dave?
Oh no, yeah, I knew it. It's just one of those things where it's like
Split.
they say it so much that
Uh-huh.
during the season where it's like a foregone thing. You know, he set
Yeah.
so many records too, like completion percentage record, appearance record, like so many that they would say, and then just like the Bo Nix, Tez Johnson, like adopted
Yeah, the
brother
brother.
thing, like yeah, they do that in the NFL now, and I'm like, oh my god.
You heard it enough. But I thought it was going to be flipped, and everyone would get Gabriel right away. But yeah, that works too. Players of the week, everybody. Adam, why don't you start us off here?
Bias Adams back at it again. I'm going Brendan Sorsby.
Boo! Just kidding.
Like we
Him
said
out, don't worry.
earlier.
I called him out. I tried calling him out.
Hey, I admit it though. It's okay.
That is true. Go ahead.
Like I was saying earlier, he was 20 of 29, 270 yards, 3 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown, and another just efficient week from him. He keeps piling these up, so I have to keep picking him.
Yep. Bryce?
My player of the week was Connor Wegman, 15 for
man?
23.
Go
I
ahead.
need to know this right now before I continue. What is so funny about Connor Wegman?
It's his shoe, bruh. His shoe. You just...
Okay, so yeah, there is the like, from what I understand, Connor Wegman is just a normal white dude, and there's like this Oz the Mentalist clip where like he does something with his shoe, and he's like just really overdoing his accent. Give me my shoe, bro. Like nah, give me my shoe, bro. Like just
Yeah,
really
bro,
overdoing it.
It's so cringy, dude.
It's funny.
It's so cringy. It's like a magic trick with a shoe in front of like everyone at A&M when he was there. I'll link it later, but that's why I kept saying that. I'm sorry. You go ahead. Yeah, he did play good.
Funny.
It's
Yeah. He had 160 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. He also ran for 100 yards and 1 rushing touchdown, and Houston's upset win over Arizona. So I took Connor Wegman for my player of the week.
that's a good shout. Stiggs, who'd you pick for your player of the week?
I picked Georgia QB Gunnar Stockton. Adam kind of ran through his stats, so I'm throwing out. I had an honorable mention, so I'm just going to throw him out as another player of the week. Haynes King, man. Haynes King's a freaking dog. His stats never really, eye pop. He'll throw for 200, but he always runs for over 100. He always gets 10 to 15 carries, and he's just putting his body on the line. He had 200 passing yards, 120 rushing, a touchdown, and just captained his team away at Duke to an impressive performance.
100%. And I want to ask something here, Sticks, before we get to your goats coming up. Do you shout out guys who lost in your goats of the group this week?
I did not. I don't believe.
That I'm keeping my player of the week as it is. I had a second one. My other one I had was Fernando Mendoza, 24 of 28, 332 yards, 4 touchdowns in the win over Michigan State. But I'm actually going to pick a player of the week who lost. And, Stiggs, I'm going to go with Brad Jackson, Texas State true freshman. This guy went.
Let's go.
He did have an interception, but guys, listen to the stat line. He did end up losing at the very end of the game. 26 of 38, 444 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, and then he also had 19 carries for 48 yards and a touchdown on his own. When I say that he was everything, this guy's a true freshman as well. They're not even in this game without him, and I didn't want to say it in case you were going to be bringing him up, Stiggs, but that's who I picked for my player of the week, showing Texas State a little bit of love.
The elite pool. That's the elite pool.
Real quick,
Yeah.
can I shout out one more person real quick?
I was gonna do it if you weren't.
This is my second guy I got from my boy Dave. Dante Moore
Stud.
went absolutely crazy. I mean, Oregon blew the doors off of Rutgers. And Dante Moore, he was 15 of 20 for 290 yards, 4 touchdowns. He did throw a pick, but clearly that didn't matter. I just want to shout out Oregon really quick. They're up 42-3 at halftime against a decent Rutgers team. They put up a 750 yards of offense, just totally dominant.
Yeah, undoubtedly. Bryce?
I wanted to add somebody real quick. Somebody I feel like that's being overlooked, and y'all may or may not know who I'm talking about right now. But Monty Quinn broke the NCAA rushing record, 522 rushing yards
gosh,
on
yeah.
20 carries, and he scored 7 touchdowns that game. It did not happen in the Division I level, but he is an absolute beast, and that is a player of the week right there. Honorable mention.
Yeah, 100%. Stiggs, you like getting the Oregon love. I was trying to gas it up to him on Saturday. I sent him a thing, said 700 yards of offense, and he reminded me that he is the cup half empty outlook, Adam. So,
Yeah, he sent me. He's like, I saw Oregon. How many yards of offense? And I just sent back Rutgers.
yeah, that's,
But yeah, no, I don't know what you guys are trying to do to me. Throwing extra G5 players in here, gassing up Oregon quarterback. You guys are really feeling me today.
yeah, we're really buttering you up.
Oh
How about
God.
we go with our
Oiling you up, King.
upset pick of the week this week. Since we buttered you up, how about we go with you, Stig? Start us off. Your
All
upset
right.
pick of the week.
Upset pick of the week. We're going right back to the G Fizzle. I'm going Toledo, the Rockets over Wazoo. I know Wazoo's looked pretty good in a couple close losses against some P5 teams, but I'm picking Toledo. They got a Chip Trainum, former Buckeye. Shout out Paul. He's leading their strong run game. I believe he has like 600 something rushing yards, but they're led by a pretty strong defense. They have a top 50 overall defense, and Emmanuel McNeil Warren, he's a safety. He led their team in tackles last year, and he's having another strong season. Has a couple picks and a couple tackles for loss.
I really like that we stay in the outside the Power Four for that one. Adam, what's your upset pick of the week?
Yeah, my upset pick of the week, I'm taking the BYU Cougars over Iowa State. They're currently on FanDuel plus 2.5 underdogs. I can't continue to keep down BYU. I mean, like I said earlier, every time I do, they prove me wrong. Ames is a very tough place to play in the Big 12, but I think BYU is going to pull it out.
All right, Bryce.
My upset pick of the week is Cal over Virginia Tech. I don't know why Virginia Tech is favored in this game at home. I like Cal in this one.
All
Give me
right.
the Bears.
Bryce, real quick, can you say Cal's quarterback's name?
I
say-
can give it I can give it a gander if you'd like.
yeah, just say
Yeah.
Devin Brown.
All right,
Yeah,
Devin
he
Brown.
will.
I'm just kidding.
You
He's
wouldn't be
their
wrong.
backup.
All right. Jaren Kiowa Sagapulete Lele.
I'll give you credit for it. Go ahead, Paul. Sorry, had to.
Doug, you guys are good. I think you guys are going to be taken way back by my upset pick of the week here. I'm taking Bear. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, Adam. But it contradicts everything we said. But I think that's also kind of been the story of college football this year. I'm going to take LSU to upset Texas A&M at home. You guys probably are all like, what an idiot.
I thought about that.
LSU's
but-
plus 2.5. This is a night game in Death Valley, which doesn't mean everything, but this is also a rivalry game between the two. If you look at the last 10 years that this game's been played, it's been under one score almost every single time. I mean, this game has the infamous 74-72 final score with it. Over-under sitting at 48.5, which we'll get into it a little bit later. But I'm going to take LSU here, and it's more of their offense was struggling the last week, but A&M coming off the game with Arkansas where they really needed to pull it out at the end. We talked about that before. A&M's had a couple games that they've played really tight this year, and I just think this one is going to be one that just slides the other way. Wow, what an idiot. All right, we'll go on to the...
We'll talk about that when we pick it, sir.
Yeah, that's when we get there. Age-old questions here. So, I got a couple other things that we're going to go over instead of rankings tonight, but here's the question that I want to try to have it as a discussion instead we all agree. I'm going to start with you, Adam. What criteria decides what is the best conference in college football?
Put me on the spot.
Exactly. Because some people say it's if the national championship comes out of that conference, and that's the best conference, or they say it's head to head, or it's bowl. You know what I mean? It's
I think number one, like one of the more important things, is just depth. Like if overall, like even the eighth best team in your conference is really good. Like you don't have like 1 through 8 is really good, 9 through whatever is solid. I think that helps conference prestige. If your conference top to bottom is pretty solid.
yeah. I agree with you on that, but I'm gonna kind of expand a little bit of my thoughts and then kind of let you guys go into it. I don't care about how many ranked teams you have. I don't care about any of that. I care more about head to head with your conference and non-con, if like for the depth perception of it. So like if the eighth place team on your conference played the eighth place team in my conference and we have the results of that, I'm not just going to say, well, this team was ranked 24th and this one was unranked with the same record. Like that doesn't carry that much weight to me. I think head to head in the non-con shows more about it than anything else is my answer. Stiggs?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, a combination of a bunch of factors that's really kind of hard to quantify in one, quick paragraph statement here. But just to add my little bit into it, I think an important part is talent, the players, not just the X and O's, but the Jimmies and Joes.
Yep.
If you have the best players and you go against the best players, that plays a part in contributing to the quality of the team. And I think the SEC has clearly been, at the forefront in the last, 10 years, but I think the gap has significantly closed, and I think that the Big Ten definitely has an argument that they're at least, catching up. Maybe not, surpassed or on par, but I think there's an argument to be had there.
Yeah. The thing with the Big Ten is the top of the conference is proving to be competing with the top of the SEC. It's the bottom does not hold up their weight is where it loses it for me. The middle of the pack is the same to me. I'm not really bought in about that it's that different. Like stat for you, 6 Big Ten teams are 5-2. I think only one of them are ranked. 6 or it's like 4 or 5 SEC teams are 5-2. All of them are ranked. So like I just don't buy into the ranked part aspect of it. But like you said, the talent wise, it's got to be there. Bryce.
When I think of teams, and you guys, I've all kind of touched on it in your own ways. I think you have to look at the top of the conference. Who's top heavy? Does your conference have a team that can compete for a national championship? For example, the past several years, the ACC has had maybe one team, maybe two, that could compete for a title against these other conferences, while the Big 12 hasn't necessarily had a team like that. Although the Big 12 is so much deeper than the ACC ever has been, at least for the past decade. And when you look at teams as a whole and the conferences as a whole, I think you got to look at like kind of what Adam said, the depth of the conference. Sure, maybe the Big 12, for example, they can't compete with the likes of the SEC or the Big 10 at the top, but they can absolutely compete with every other team in pretty much every other conference. After you get out of the top 4 of the Big 10 and the SEC, the ACC, I mean, when I look at it, I look at the depth of conferences and how deep they can run, and then I compare that to the top of the conference. And I think if you had to rank conferences as a whole, it would be, I think we'd all agree with it, it would be SEC right there. Big Ten's really, over the past 5 years, been making huge strides catching up. And then you'd have the other 2 conferences right there kind of in the middle. But I like depth and then comparing the top of the conferences against everybody else.
Yeah,
yeah,
good
I like
shout.
that point, Fix. I just wanted to add something real quick, Paul. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that now in the new age of college football, more than ever, that the the power structure is like more volatile than ever. Because like let's just say 3 ACC teams decide to spend 20 million in NIL one year, and that's gonna deplete other big teams by nature of them poaching some players, and they could be a powerful conference for one year. I think with the new age of college football, things can change very fast in the conference dynamic.
I think that's a great point, Stiggs. I didn't even think about that. I thought we were going along the route of the new age of college football is we don't have to do as many assumptions anymore. We're going to see it in the expanded playoff. It's not only the top dog out of each conference getting to prove it. I mean, we are going to see these teams compete against each other without any more hypotheticals, thankfully. And my take on it is the SEC is the best conference right now. I believe that. I'm not going to say it. I mean, someone will probably clip me saying that because it doesn't seem like I ever mean it like that. My thing is, I'm just not convinced that the gap is as big as other teams. If you're a good team in another conference, you can compete in these other conferences. Like, I don't need people to try to convince me that Kentucky is going to win the Big 12. That's not happening. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think the conference stuff is pushed way too much, and it should be more just about good and bad teams. And that's kind of where my take on it and where it lies. And I think that objectively going to a bigger playoff, and taking the subjectivity out of it kind of helps remove some of the bias and leaves the results on the field.
Which is what we all really want, right?
Exactly. And unfortunately for like Pat Narduzzi's comments today and everything, like I get exactly what he means by it, but when you saw the ACC compete in the playoffs the last few years, they're getting steamrolled. Like, their games haven't even been close to the other conferences. So it's like, that's just a tough thing to back up.
One thing also, speaking of Pitt, I just think it's funny that he's the one talking about the ACC being the best conference when they couldn't even beat possibly the worst team in the Big 12 this year.
Well, and like, it might, I see it with Alabama all the time, and they lost to the 13th team in the ACC right now.
Yeah.
Like, it just happens. Like, there's good teams and bad teams in every conference. That was my meaning of it. And there's good players on those teams, and there's good players not in those Power 4 teams. And that leads us right in here to Stig's go to the group.
You have had me on the edge for a while, sir. I'm glad, I'm glad we finally got to it. No, there's some good goats this week. First, I want to shout out a couple game recaps. JMU versus Old Dominion. JMU beat the hell out of them. It was like 60-30. It was very, very bad. But I wanted to shout out Old Dominion's defense. So they have not allowed a team more than 300 yards of total offense, and that's including Louisville. So that's looking more and more impressive each week. Yeah. That's super. That's even more impressive. I didn't even have that note. So great call on you. I'm going to touch on a player from that game later. Boise State took down undefeated UNLV in the Mountain West, which was definitely an upset. Dylan Riley, he averaged 13.4 yards a carry and had 200 yards, pretty much carried the team on his back. That was also a one-sided affair as well. So that conference, I thought it was going to take shape with UNLV winning that game. That's who I would have picked, but Boise State shocked me. Mm-hmm. My goats of the group this week. I'm going to shout out James Madison, quarterback Alonzo Barrett III. So this dude went off. He had over 400 yards of total offense. He had 295 by air, 2 touchdowns, 153 on the ground, and added 4 more touchdowns. So 6 total touchdowns for him. Went off. So that's why I couldn't include the Texas State quarterback, because I had to shout out JMU's quarterback. And I also had an honorable mention. And it's more of just a local story because I remember this kid's name and I was like, wait a second, he sounds familiar. So Brody Foley, he's Tulsa tight end. He had 6 catches versus ECU, 126 yards and a touchdown. He's actually from Anderson High School, which is like 15 minutes from where I live in Ohio. So Anderson Raptor, he originally committed to Tennessee, flipped to Indiana, and eventually transferred to Tulsa. So it shows that he really had some talent. Like I said, 126 yards and a touchdown, averaging over 50 yards a game. So good to see a local kid carving out a path.
Yeah. Wow, greatly put. And Stig, speaking of our group of four, I kind of want to ask, with the loss for Dan Mullen and co., does that eliminate the Mountain West from their chance at the playoff? I want to say it does.
I mean, they would have to have the American like implode on each other because there's so many good candidates from them, from multiple teams having win over Power Four schools. Um, I really think that the American has like a stranglehold. Just real quickly, I do have Boise State third on my group of five rankings. So real quick, it's USF, Tulane, Boise State, James Madison, and Navy. Memphis did go down. Memphis was in the top five. UNLV also was very close to the top five. They went down. It's just wide open now. I don't think Navy's going to stay there for long because we kind of went over their schedule. It's brutal. So,
And they keep
Um,
squeaking by every week.
really, every freaking week, man, it's super close. I don't see them doing that against Notre Dame. But real quick, I know we're going to break down USF Memphis, but San Diego State versus Fresno State's a pretty big Mountain West showdown. Now that UNLV took a loss, so it kind of sounds like a one-loss team in the Mountain West is going to take it. They're both 5-2.
Perfectly put there, Stigs.
Mhm.
All right, so we got a new part here. This is the surprise segment. Shout out Sketchy for this graphic, by the way.
Fire!
Wow.
Shout out Sketchy as always.
Fire. It's called Accurate or BS. I only got 2 topics today, and I'm kind of wanted to keep it short, but kind of wanted to mention it. This is kind of stuff that I wanted. Our show's been a lot of predictions and a lot of reviews. We don't really talk about, current things going on in the college football landscape as much. But I kind of want to bring that to light just a little bit and get some opinions on it. So the first thing that I want to ask, I only got 2 things. Crazy to say, but after this weekend, Stiggs, I'll start with you. We can kind of just have you say if it's accurate or you call bullshit. UCLA won the QB trade.
Ooh, that's super tough. I'm gonna call bullshit just for now. Just for now, based on this season. If you made me answer this season, I'm gonna call BS. If you say long term, I'd probably say UCLA wins it because Nico does show flashes of that potential. But Joey has been balling, man. Like he's not the reason that Tennessee's losing these games. They're a little bit flawed on the defensive side. Their secondary, they have good players, but it just hasn't lived up to expectation. But yeah, Joey Aguilar, I think he's a gunslinger, man. It just sucks that he's a senior. I would have loved to maybe see him one more year in this offense. I think it could have been really special.
Yeah, and I really was thinking about this question myself. With UCLA's been surging. Don't look now; they've won 3 in a row, and it's really made me think Nico's played well. We talked about it even in their losses. We were talking about it. So I'm like, but Tennessee's been the better team. They've both been playing pretty well, in my opinion. But just want to get your guys' opinion on that. Adam, what do you think? Who won the quarterback trade? Tennessee or
Yeah,
UCLA?
I'm also gonna call BS on this. I think just like Sig said, based off this season, Tennessee's been the better team, and Aguilar has been really good. So I'm gonna go with call BS on that one.
You know what? I'm gonna be the only one that's is accurate, I think. But I actually feel like it right now. I think Nico's game's a little underrated. Bryce?
I'm actually right there with you, Paul.
Oh, let's go.
I think if Nico would have stayed at Tennessee, Tennessee could still be 5-2 right now. They'd still be the same. I think if Nico does not go to UCLA, UCLA is 0-7, 0-8 after firing their coach. Like the reason they turned around and have started winning these games after they started changing coaches and getting rid of some people. I mean, Nico's always been popping off, but he is the reason why they are winning games. And I have a proposition for y'all. How crazy would it be if UCLA beats Indiana this weekend? If they beat Indiana, is UCLA ranked?
No, they're not ranked yet. You can't rank a 4-4 team, but like
I don't know.
Heisel's probably gonna get a statue if he does that.
Yeah, that's. I think the turnaround of UCLA's entire program, especially just the team in general, after firing their head coach, has been it's been eye-opening, and it's been a good shakeup for the college football world.
Yeah, it's really cool to see the turnaround they've had instantly. Here's the other question I have. Here's the deal. I think all four of us are going to call bullshit on this. But I wanted to bring it up anyway. It's been all over my feed the last 2 days. Todd Furman of CBS Sports tweets, college football parity is great until we get USF versus Georgia Tech in the first round and nobody watches. Tell me I'm wrong and tell me I'm an elitist, but the ratings won't lie. Stiggs, you think that's accurate or you think that's bullshit?
You came to the right person first because I'm answering for everyone. We all know it's bullshit. We have a college football podcast. You know, we're all going to be dialed into that game no matter who it is,
I
man.
want to see it.
I'll keep it. Yeah, dude, that'd be a fun ass game. Haynes King versus Byron Brown. Like, that'd be awesome. I'll keep it short. That's absolute BS.
Yeah, for me, it's like, what is that? I don't care about TV ratings when I watch college football. I like at all. Like, it has no effect on me. I love the expanded playoff for that. Adam?
Yeah, Dave answered for me. That's complete bullshit.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Hey, we're all on the same page here because I hate that these games don't even need to be played. Just don't even put them in. Like, what's it hurting? I want to watch it. We already know what's gonna happen. Like, no, let me watch Haynes
Boys.
King go through it.
I think Haynes King would be like, I want to see Oregon in the playoff, obviously, but Haynes King getting Georgia Tech through the playoff. Dude, I watched some TikTok that almost made me cry of Haynes King, like of how many times he's come short in his career. Like, he's almost beat Georgia. Like, he's took them to the brink one year when they won the Natty, I think. Like, it's crazy, man. I hope he does do it.
Yeah, they've been, they've been the miracle team this year so far. I mean, they're resilient. They find ways to win. Let's go ahead and go with our picks of the week. Do you guys want to start out with just picking the games, or you guys want to give your locks first?
I think we should give our locks.
All right, let's do our locks. Stiggs, what's your lock this week?
I'm locking in Mississippi State plus 7.5 against Texas. It's at Mississippi State. Those cowbells are going to be going crazy. And my dude, Fluff Bothwell, Mississippi State running back, is going to go crazy. Bulldogs, funny enough. Most popular mascot, if you didn't know.
There we go. Bryce.
I'm taking Miami versus Stanford. I'm hitting the over of 45.5. Last week, my lock of the week, Florida State minus 17.5, did not end up too bright for me. I think Miami's going to redeem for me this week against Stanford. And the over 45.5.
I like that. They might cover that on their own.
I hope so.
Adam.
I'm also taking an over, but the over I'm going to take is Cincinnati Baylor over 67.5. Now, that is a lot of points.
Oh, my God.
Now,
Crazy.
hold on now. That is a lot of points, but Baylor's defense is god-awful. They cannot stop anything. And Cincinnati's defense is not good either. Well, they have the talent, they just don't run a good scheme. That's a different story. Either way, it's my reasoning is literally just this. Both offenses great, both defenses bad.
I'd like to add on to that. As a person that's played a fan of a team that's played both of these teams, both Baylor and Cincinnati had our best offensive performances. So I think that is a keynote that you should focus on.
Yeah. Didn't Baylor or you guys scored 24 on them?
27. We barely missed that other statistic.
I've been hanging around Stiggs a lot lately. My lock of the week is actually coming out of the MAC this week. I'm going to take Ohio minus 12.5, travel on to Eastern Michigan. The Bobcats had a slip-up a couple weeks ago. They did have a bounce-back game against Northern Illinois where they put up 48 points. Eastern Michigan is 2-6, guys. They just came off a 14-point loss to Miami, Ohio, where they gave up 44 points. I like Ohio and Parker Navarro to bounce back. This game is noon, but I like them to cover the 12.5. I'm not too sure why the line is as tight as it is for a team that's 2-6 at home. Maybe Stiggs has a little bit more knowledge than me on it, but I like the Bobcats in this one.
I mean, Parker Navarro's been banged up, so unless Parker Navarro's maybe not playing, that could be a reason. And OU has been kind of inconsistent. They were kind of predicted to win the MAC this year. It doesn't look like that's going to happen. But dude, whenever you can shout out some action, we shout out some action.
You know, this is just the one game that stuck out in my gut. Watch out, they'll lose, but it's all right. We'll go here to start our pick'ems for the week, guys. We will start in the Big 12. Let's go ahead and go with BYU at Iowa State. I think we talked about this game just a little bit earlier. Adam, this is a 3:30 kick on Fox. Iowa State at home, 2.5-point favorites in Ames. Over under 48.5. You picked BYU, number 11 in the country, on the road against an unranked opponent. They're the underdog.
Yeah, like I said earlier, Ames is going to be rocking for this game. Iowa State, they lost to us and they lost to Colorado. So I mean, they've been on the downturn, but they still have talent on that team. But again, like I said earlier, I can't continue to doubt BYU anymore, so I have to go with them.
Bryce?
I am taking Iowa State. The conference is due for a shakeup. Iowa State's due for a big win. I think them winning this game and turning their season around. I think if they're going to have any chance of that, it's going to happen this weekend. Also, BYU's coming off of a very emotional win against a rivalry game opponent, and I think going to Ames could be a very sneaky trap game for them. So I like Iowa State in this game.
Stiggs, you going to roll with Rocco Becht here?
Yeah, I am going to roll Rocco Beck, man. This next point I'm about to make could make my pick totally wrong or make this totally irrelevant, but there's a key matchup I'm interested in this game is that BYU's O-line, they have a top 5 rush blocking grade, and we've seen Iowa State get gashed by Adams Bearcats, and they also got gashed by numerous other teams. They have a unit that's outside of the top 100 in terms of rush defense. So very interested to see how that matchup shakes out. That being said, typically is my rule of thumb when it's like a pickup game, it's close like this for me. It's like 50-50. I really like Iowa State. I actually predicted them to win the Big 12 before the year started. So I don't know if it's my bias, but when it's a pickup game like this, I go with whoever gives me the points, and they're giving Iowa State the points. So I'm going to take them.
Yeah, I kind of have the same philosophy, but usually in a pick'em game like this, I like to go with the home team. Realistically, is it crazy to say that Adam is the only one taking BYU, the 11th ranked team in the country, to win this game?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like I said, I'm just going with my gut. I'll start off first with this one since it is my upset pick of the week. I took LSU over Texas A&M. And they might lose by 35 points Saturday night. But it is a 7:30 kick on ABC. LSU plus 2.5, over under 48.5. So I already said my piece. I'm going to go with Stiggs. Start us off.
Yeah, I'm worried about the LSU offense. Garrett's been playing okay, but it's clear that they can't run the ball. They can't really protect him, and that's why he's getting banged up. LSU has a defensive end, or I'm sorry, A&M has a defensive end, Cassius Howe. He has 8 sacks, 32 pressures. I see him getting home. There is an interesting matchup, though. Jim Thorpe, front runner, Mansour Delane, LSU DB, and they also have a stud safety, A.J. Halsey, who transferred in from Houston. They're going to be matched up against Casey Concepcion and Mario Craver, some elite wide receivers from Texas A&M. Mario Craver averages like 14 yards per catch, and I'm really interested to see that matchup, but I'm going to take A&M.
Bryce?
I'm going to take LSU in this game.
Oh!
For reasons like you also said, Paul, this being a home game along with it being a rivalry, and the series has always been very close for the past 5-10 years. I want to throw in the fact that, again, Texas A&M's been on a pretty good hot streak right now, and they've had a couple games where they kind of snuck away with a W. I think if LSU has a chance to turn their season around and get back in the spotlight, kind of like Iowa State, it's going to be this weekend with a big win against Texas A&M at home. I like LSU.
Adam?
Yeah, I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. Roll Aggies.
Roll Aggies. Alrighty, we'll stay in the SEC for the next game. This is College Game Day. There's been some controversy about College Game Day and where they go. I understand the hate and everything about they are only going to Big Ten and SEC. Me personally, I love that they're going to Vandy. This would have never happened 5 years ago with Vandy and Mizzou. 15 Mizzou goes to number 10 Vandy. Vandy minus 2.5, over under 52. This is a 3:30 kick. Adam, let's start with you.
Yeah, this one was such a toss-up for me. I don't really feel confident in either way, but I took Missouri to win this one.
Okay. I'll go next. I'm going to take Vandy. It took 2 overtimes for Missouri to beat Auburn last week, who has probably one of the worst offenses in college football. Mud Hardy last week also, he did have 2 touchdowns, but he only got 58 yards rushing. I think that Vanderbilt being the home team as well. Pavia played great last week. They're coming off a big win. I think they're going to keep their momentum. I think Vanderbilt's legit. Not that Missouri isn't legit, but I think winning on the road here is going to be really tough for Mizzou. Bryce?
This game is very tricky for me. As much as I want to take Vandy in this game, I think I'm leaning more Mizzou. This could be a very sneaky game for both teams. I think both teams have to pay attention. Again, we're at the time of the year where games are starting to mean a little bit more, and this could be a turning point for every single team season. Both teams being at 6-1 right now, the winner of this takes lead in the SEC and just buffs their chances of making the conference championship game and making a playoff spot. If I had to pick a team though right now, I might have to take Missouri on this game. As much as I want to take Vandy, I don't feel it. I'm feeling Missouri.
All right. Stiggs?
Yeah, I'm gonna join. You guys. Join Paul. I'm taking Vandy. I think that. So if you watched the game between Vandy and LSU last week, Vandy was super physical, man. Like they dominated them in the trenches. And Missouri got dominated by Auburn in the trenches. And now Auburn does have a super good defensive line and a solid offensive line, but they haven't really been able to protect Jackson Arnold. So to see them get work like that, it's concerning. And Vandy's very physical. So I'm going to take Vandy.
Yeah. Auburn, most sacked team in the last 5 years in Power 4. We had that earlier. Good point. Baylor versus Cincinnati. Adam, are you going to be there?
Of course.
Yep. Adam will be there. As of right now, CBS Sports has this game. It's a 4 o'clock kick on ESPN2. Minus 3.5 for the Bearcats. They're thinking this is a close game. And I do have an over-under of 67.5 in this one. That is insane. Adam, you're picking your Cats. Tell us why.
Look, I just think Cincinnati's defense, like I said, they've been bad, just straight. But they do have a bend, don't break to them to where like they'll get deep into the red zone and they get the stops in the red zone. I don't think Baylor can stop anything that we can do. To be honest, they can't stop anybody. I mean, like Bryce said earlier, they gave up 27 points to one of the worst offenses in college football. No offense, Bryce, but it's just a fact.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I just think Cincinnati will be able to get more stops than Baylor. Because I do think it's going to be very high scoring, as I took the over as a lock. But, yeah, give me the Bearcats.
Stiggs, let's go with you.
I'm picking the Cats too. I really struggled to pick them this week, so Baylor's probably going to win now. But I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think it's going to be a close game. UC secondary's played well of late, but throughout the whole season hasn't really been their strongest unit for sure. So John Mackey favorite, Michael Trigg, Baylor's tight end. He's definitely going to be a problem. Sawyer's got the most passing yards. Michael Trigg has the most receiving yards for a tight end. So, I mean, they're going to air that bitch out. But their defense is horrific. And they make up for that by blitzing a lot. But per PFF, Brendan Sorsby has an 87.1 passing grade under pressure, which no one is higher. So I think that's going to be the difference.
Yeah, I'm gonna lean with the Cats here. They're at home. I trust them to get the stop that's needed more than I trust Baylor to get the stop that's needed. I do think it'll be tight, maybe a touchdown game. Hopefully not for your case, Adam, but I was thinking maybe a 37-30 game, which is right at the over-under.
Yeah, I can see that.
Bryce?
I just
Yeah,
oh,
go
my
ahead.
bad.
No, you're good, Adam. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say one thing. They finally gave us a non-nip at noon game. But of course, it's not nip at night, but close enough, I guess.
Yeah, they gave you a nip at dusk game,
Yeah.
or whatever you want to call it. It's not even that, but Bryce, I know how you feel about Cincinnati.
I feel good about Cincinnati. I feel better about the quarterback battle in this game. Sawyer Robinson versus Brennan Sorsby. I think this could be a game of the week, potentially, as far as excitement goes. I think it'll be very, like y'all said, high-scoring game. Going into this game, both quarterbacks were kind of on the Heisman watch list at this point in the season, just because of what they've done so far for their teams. I know Sawyer Robinson hasn't necessarily won the games, but that isn't all of his fault either. I think that has a lot to do with the defense that Baylor has, and not necessarily what they're doing on offense. Granted, that being said, I'm going to take the Bearcats in this one. I think they are a more complete team at the moment, and I really like this being a home game for them.
Sorry, Adam. You know what happens when we have a clean sweep of picks on the pod.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll overcome it.
Yep, there we go. That's the confidence I like hearing from you, Adam. All right, guys, our last game of the week that we have here, we are going to the SEC right in Bryce's backyard. Ole Miss at Oklahoma. Oklahoma current 5.5-point favorites. This is a noon kickoff on ABC. Over under 54.5. And I'll start with you, Bryce.
I really want Ole Miss to win this game, and I think they will, honestly. Lane Kiffin's coming off of a loss. I think them losing back to back, I just find that hard to believe. I'll find it to be a real struggle, them losing to Georgia the way they did, and then coming and losing on the road to OU. Again, that would turn their season around and kind of put them downhill, and I don't think they're going to be losing just yet. Not to mention Oklahoma, they looked great against South Carolina. I think South Carolina is who they thought they were going to be going into the year.
They're who I thought they would.
They're not for me. I was very wrong about South Carolina. They did lose a lot of people, but that being said, OU's defense is legit. Their offense is still recovering with John Matier. I think Ole Miss doesn't lose back to back. I'm going to take Ole Miss.
Stiggs, who you taking?
First off, we do have one more game, USF Memphis. I don't know if we're just skipping that one or.
I was saving that for last. I forgot. I'm sorry. I thought I went through.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got one more. We get the big game after this.
Yeah, I had to put you in check real quick, bud.
Yeah, thank you.
Don't forget about G5. No, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna take OU. Ole Miss kind of showed their cards a little bit last week in the sense that they're very one-dimensional. They struggle running the ball. They only had 70 total rush yards, and 50 of those came from Chambliss. Matier, he's getting healthier and healthier every week. We haven't necessarily see him return to that Heisman form he showed earlier in the season. But OU also struggles to run the ball too. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a similar game play out to that Georgia game last week because Georgia couldn't run the ball very well either. But I'm going to take OU simply because I think they have a more consistent defense.
So I went back and forth on this game for the simple fact of the weakness is Ole Miss run defense. But the weakness with Oklahoma, they haven't been able to run the ball effectively most of the year. So I'm like, do I want to take Ole Miss? Wouldn't be surprised if they won this game. I'm going to join you though, Stiggs. I think we're split 2-2 here. I'm going to take Oklahoma. Not super confidently, but I like the home teams, obviously. I mean, that's what it's been the whole time. But yeah, I expect Matier to finally start showing a little bit more life. But yeah, I'm gonna take Oklahoma. And now we get to our big boy game of the week. I think this probably had a chance to be game day if Memphis didn't lose last week. USF at Memphis. Memphis plus 4.5-point dogs at home. Over under 62.5. Just under that UC game. This is a noon kick. Adam, USF at Memphis.
I miss owning these two teams. Anyway, that's besides the point. I think Memphis's quarterback is still hurt. Correct me if I'm wrong, Stiggs, but I'm pretty sure he's still hurt.
Yeah, he's listed as doubtful right now. He's listed day to day, so they haven't really got an update. So
just based off that pure fact, because they did not look great against UAB, obviously they lost. I'm gonna go with South Florida.
I'm also going to go with South Florida for the fact that Memphis' quarterback, even if he does play, will not be 100%. Bryce?
I'm taking South Florida. They are dogs. In the past 4 games, their lowest points per game was 48 points. They have just been absolutely killing it on offense, and I don't see Memphis slowing them down anytime soon.
Stiggs?
I am going to take USF too, but I will give you a compelling argument for Memphis. There is an interesting matchup that I saw when I was researching this game. So, like Paul said, it would be a lot more fun of a game if Memphis didn't freaking lose last week. Definitely, we're going to smash the over on this one. It should produce points. Both offenses are different, but they both produce. So, yeah, bet the over for sure. Yeah, if Brendan Lewis doesn't play Memphis' quarterback, it's going to be probably a tough day for them. But here's the X factor here. You guys know USF QB Byron Brown. He's a stud, dual threat quarterback. Their team goes how he goes. If you've paid attention to USF, though, they've taken care of business, and the scores on paper have looked good against their weaker opponents, per se. But they like to do this thing where they just, I don't even know what to call it. They just dick around, man. They don't take it serious, and in the second half they just lock in. You know, Byron Brown, every game he's gone over 100 yards, he's fumbled. So that's something to take into account for. He's got 5 fumbles this year, and Memphis defense is aggressive, and they blitz at one of the highest rates in college football. And Byron Brown is 103rd in the nation in terms of passing grade against the blitz. So that's your matchup to watch. That's something to keep an eye on. I am trusting USF and Alex Golish to keep their momentum going, though.
Yeah, and this has a potential playoff potential for this game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Memphis needs this game. If they lose, they're done.
Yeah, it's funny that they lose the UAB as soon as Dilfer's gone.
Dude, you need a big win, just fire your coach, apparently.
Yeah, exactly. Before we round it out, I know that I wanted to add on just a tiny bit here. I know we're going a little bit late, but Bryce, you kind of made a note about it earlier that we're at the point of the season maybe where teams like to turn stuff around, and this is kind of what kicks up into gear. Something to look out for this weekend, everybody. There are 3 games in the Big Ten this weekend, and all 3 games that I'm talking about, all 6 teams are 5-2. So it's going to either push one of those teams. There's another interesting one. Washington and Illinois are this weekend. That game, were you surprised at all with that line, Stiggs, for that game?
What is the line?
Currently, as it sits, Illinois at Washington. Washington are 4.5-point favorites.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think the home field's that many points. I would have Illinois like 2.5, personally.
Washington minus 4.5. 4.5-point favorites with that. But yeah, Northwestern at Nebraska, both those teams are 5-2. Minnesota at Iowa, both those teams are 5-2. Illinois at Washington, both those teams are
funny
5-2.
Is I think all of those teams are on different tiers of where they are in the Big Ten with that same record.
It's true. That's what's interesting. That's why I wanted to point it out. Like when he said that, I'm like, dude, the difference between 6-2 and 5-3, at least 3 of those teams are going to be 6-2. That's going to be big for them.
Northwestern would be like ranked 25th in the SEC.
But the thing about Northwestern, you know who their 2 losses are to? Tulane and Oregon. That's it.
And they didn't play horrible against Oregon either. They didn't get worked like some other power schools.
Yeah, they They definitely didn't, but I didn't even really pay attention close to them to know that they were 5-2. But Nebraska had a tough loss last week, Adam. Do you think they're gonna recover at home against Northwestern?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's a good shout right there.
I
That's
almost
just-
picked that as my upset.
Really?
Yeah, I think
Northwestern?
Northwestern might play them tough. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't think Nebraska's that good at all. And I think week 1 they got blessed because UC figured it out instantly.
They definitely did there.
I was gonna say UC figured it out, but then I realized it's the same. I don't know. Go ahead.
No, you're all good. Another games that are within like 10 point. Looks like Tennessee goes to 2-4 Kentucky, and that's an 8.5 point spread Saturday night. Kroger Field, I guess it likes to try to get what it can. Bama's 12.5 point favorites over South Carolina. Arkansas at home is -1.5 over Auburn. Bryce, I think you're taking Arkansas, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Yep,
Actually, I don't know about this one. I think we might got to take Auburn because as good as Arkansas has played against good teams and still fallen short. The problem is they've still fallen short.
Yeah.
Auburn is in a very similar situation. They've played teams very close, and they've just fallen short. So I don't know. This could be a very interesting game. I don't know who I'm going to take in this game. I think I'm going to watch it for fun.
Yeah, and then similar to what I was doing with the Big Ten, if you look at the ACC, there are a couple big games over there. NC State at Pitt, that's a 4-3 at 5-2. But the main one that I'm talking about, SMU Stigs 5-2. I think they surprised you a little bit at Wake Forest 4-2. They also surprised you a little bit, I'm guessing.
Wake Forest is funny. I really like their quarterback. He is a former Oregon Duck, Robbie Ashford. He just hasn't really been able to put it together. This is going to be an insane game. One of the best games on the CW this year. Sorry, I had to say it. I hate watching games on the CW. Have you ever turned one on?
Yeah, bro, with Thom Brenneman.
Dude, yeah, it's like the worst commentary. And like, dude, it's like, at least on my TV, it's like, there's like, it's like widescreen, if you know what I'm trying to say. There's like 2 black bars on the top and bottom. I'm like, what the hell
Dude, and
is
their
this,
score
dude?
bug is always like looks weird. Like it looks like generic. I don't know how else to to say it, but
It's also in like 280p.
it's like their cameras are too close to the field or something. Like I don't know how else to put it, but
Definitely the JV Pac-12 whatever conference broadcast deal they got.
Washington State, Oregon State broadcast deal. But
Yeah,
that, we're
plus
gonna
the
go.
ACC.
Yeah, that's. But yeah, that's gonna go ahead and close this up tonight. Want to give a thank you to everybody who tuned in. Thank you to my co-host. Thank you to Sketchy for making the slides, coming in buzzer beater, a goat for that. We got another good slate of college football this weekend. Every slate's a good slate when you have as many games as you do in CFB. But thank you guys for tuning in.
Every
Bryce,
slate's a
Adam,
good slate when you
Stiggs.
talk to your friends.
Exactly. To make anything good. You guys have anything you want to say?
Go Bearcats.
Go Bucks.
Oregon has dope uniforms. Grateful Ducks, they're sick.
Those are sick. By the way, he will know any uniform thing before you do. I promise you that, Stream. He's done it to me 3 times in the last probably like 2 weeks. But
I'm on it, bro.
he's on. All right.